Whether you just want to get to the fun more quickly or you want to save some money on baggage fees, there are plenty of reasons to fly carry-on only. How do you get started though? I've personally been one bag traveling since 2016, and I'm not the only one. Most of our team has years of experience flying carry-on only, and Tom, who started Pack Hacker, actually spent 2 years as a digital nomad working all around the globe. So today, we're giving you tips on how to pack in just one bag without compromising the gear you bring along. It all starts with your priorities. We begin by creating a travel capsule wardrobe, since clothing is the bulk of what you'll be packing. Making cuts here will save you the most space. There are plenty of ways that you can reduce what you bring. A capsule wardrobe entails bringing tops and bottoms that mix and match easily to get a different look with fewer pieces. For warm weather destinations, Tom always packs moisture-wicking shorts that he can wear out and about but also work for swimming, and staff writer Christine likes to bring a beach dress that works as a swimsuit cover-up for a casual dinner out. Just be careful if you're applying sunscreen when you're doing this because it can get all over the clothing. Leggings are great for lounging around and exercising in cooler weather, and that rash guard you're packing to protect you from the sun will also keep you a little bit warmer when the temperature drops after it sets. You don't have to pack an outfit for every day if you bring clothing that can be worn more than once, like merino wool, or if you have a place to do laundry. That may be a washer and dryer at the hotel or Airbnb, or it may just be a sink. If you have to hand wash, wring each piece out and then squeeze the excess moisture from your damp clothing in a towel so it can dry overnight. In places with high humidity, like the southeastern US or Asia, you may need a hairdryer to finish the process in the morning. I personally wash my undergarments every single day when I was traveling in Thailand when we were testing our digital nomad packing list, and that worked really great for me. You'll fit more clothing inside a packing cube if you roll it first and wear your bulkiest gear on the plane. You could also use compression cubes or a vacuum to suck out the air and make more space, though your travel backpack will get heavier with more clothing inside, and you may not have access to a vacuum to pack the same way on the return trip. When it comes to shoes, look for ones that are comfortable enough to wear all day, yet look nice with dressier clothing. If you're going to bring sandals and shoes, wear your shoes to the airport and pack the sandals since they're likely more compact. Plus, then you don't have to walk through the airport with socks and sandals or barefoot, because that's really gross. If you plan to hit the gym on vacation, bring athletic shoes that are also great to wear while you're exploring so you don't need a second pair. Unless you're marathon or race training, because in that case, you have very specialized shoes and you should just bring those as a separate pair completely. You'll also want to look for more compressible versions of gear you already have, like packable jackets and compressible bottles. Not only will that help you save weight in your bag, but it'll also make it easier to pack because everything will be more condensed. To do that, first decide what's most important to you on this trip. There's a good chance you can leave a travel pillow behind and rest your head on a rolled up hoodie instead, but you may not be able to compromise on your laptop if you need to work remotely. On the other hand, if you can downsize to a smaller tablet, you might be able to fit your Kindle or a book in the remaining space. Whatever you end up bringing, we recommend tossing in a universal charger and a cable so that you can charge anything that you have versus bringing a separate plug for every single device, because it ends up being a little overkill. We also like travel adapters with USB outlets that charge multiple devices from one plug and lightweight battery banks that save you when your phone runs low on power. If you're not sure whether you'll need something like a rain jacket, pack the smallest one you can find. Of course, that's also true for gear that you do need. It's pretty easy to find smaller wall chargers than the one that comes with your laptop, minimalist wallets that hold fewer cards, compact travel sunglasses, and folding keyboards. Making even just a few of those swaps can save you a ton of space. And you never know, you might like those smaller versions better than the one that you have at home, but we do recommend trying them for a little bit before you go on your trip, because the last thing you want is to get to your destination and hate whatever gear you have. That's especially true if you make some sneaky little cuts. You may be tempted to bring just the head of your razor, but if you can't actually shave with it, that won't work. And tiny travel hairbrushes are nice unless they pull out your hair with stiff bristles. On the other hand, you can pack 1 bar of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap and leave shampoo, soap, and laundry detergent behind. Several members of the Pack Hacker crew swear by this hack. You can even cut the bar in half or quarters to save more space depending on how long you plan to be gone. Of course, you might not even need to bring soap if you're going somewhere that provides toiletries like a hotel, so definitely check ahead of time. And I like to pack all my toiletries in my 311 bag instead of bringing a separate DOP kit. Then it's ready to pull out at security and save space in my carry-on for the things I might be bringing home, like souvenirs. However, when it comes to tchotchkes and knickknacks, you're going to want to think twice before carrying them home. If you're traveling somewhere that has an online store like Disney World, you may be able to buy that new sweatshirt when you get home. You can also ask a local artisan if they have an Etsy store or if they're willing to ship you an item to your home so you don't have to bring it on the plane. I recently went to an art fair, and instead of getting a bunch of prints there in person, I decided to just pick up all of their business cards, and I was just doing some shopping online when I got home. It's a little bit more expensive, but the convenience was worth it. Traveling with a print especially is difficult because it's hard to figure out where to put it without worrying about it bending. If they can't ship it for you, there may be a nearby shipping store where you can send everything home yourself instead of making room in your carry-on. Of course, the best way to cut back is to skip souvenirs altogether or collect the smallest item you can think of, like a magnet. I went through a mug phase when I was traveling, and then I realized it's just straight up not sustainable. They take up too much room in my bag, but also in my home. You could also grab something you can wear as a memento, like a hat, or something consumable like food, though you may not be able to transport fruit or vegetables across borders. I have a friend who bought a tote in Japan because she bought too many items, then they wouldn't fit in her bag, so she used the tote as her personal item, and now that tote is one of her favorites to use at home when she goes to farmers markets or things like that. In the end, making space for a souvenir is all about what works for you and what you're willing to trade off. That's also the case with books, games, and music. Entertainment is important, but try to be realistic about what you'll actually use before leaving home. For example, you don't need to bring a book and a game system to plug into the in-flight entertainment system. I've also learned to leave my Nintendo Switch home when I'm traveling because I just don't use it enough when I'm actually there to justify bringing it on the trip. However, I like to bring a Kindle because it's more compact and I never know what I'm going to want to read. That way I have options and another novel waiting in the wings when I finish one. If you don't mind reading on a screen, you might just want to pack an iPad or a tablet to use as an e-reader, game system, and computer all in one. Once you've decided what you're going to bring, lay it all on a flat surface. That lets you see everything at once to decide how big of a bag to use. You'll also figure out if you need something more specialized for camera gear or tech accessories. Plus, having everything in front of you will help you make cuts so you can lighten the load or use a smaller bag. You'll know where to start if one pile seems larger than the others. I personally have a tendency to overpack t-shirts and tank tops, so it's a lot easier to cut down to what I'll realistically use when I see it all laid out in front of me. I also make a pile of things that I want to add back in if I happen to have enough space, but I make sure that the essentials are packed first. Now comes our favorite part, picking the bag. We like opting for square-shaped bags with good structure because they're easier to pack. Plus, they're more likely to hold their shape when they're filled with all your gear. If you're going to be carrying it for a while on your trip, try to find a pack that weighs less than 4 pounds. That will make it easier to get from the airport to your Airbnb, plus it'll allow you to carry more gear, whether you have to hit a certain weight limit for your airline or you just don't want to break your back. You may have to sacrifice some organizational features for a lighter weight bag, though it's still important to prioritize the harness system if you can. That will save you from having sore shoulders and a tired back on your trip. And if you're traveling in warmer weather, you'll want one with a breathable back panel so you don't end up with a sweaty back. When you pack it up, center heavier gear between your hips and shoulder blades as close to your back as possible. It'll center your gravity, which makes it more comfortable to carry. Then be sure to put essentials like your toiletry bag and an extra layer within easy reach to pull them out at security or on the plane. We also prefer bags with quick access pockets so we have a place to stash our phone, wallet, and passport. Of course, the key to success is practice. If this is your first foray into traveling carry-on only, we recommend packing up all of your gear and trying to live out of it for a few days. It's better to work out any kinks when you're still at home versus once you're already on your trip. For example, you'll figure out if it's too hard to get out your favorite t-shirt without dislodging the rest of your gear, or whether you can reach your phone cord to recharge at the airport gate. Even if you just do this for a day or two, it'll be apparent pretty quickly if important gear has been buried and you can rearrange at home instead of at the hotel. Then we suggest carrying your packed bag around the block to be sure it won't weigh you down. Something that doesn't feel too heavy for a few seconds can get miserable after just about 10 minutes, and a short walk will give you a good idea of what you're in for on your trip. If the bag is already pulling at your shoulders or rubbing your back the wrong way after just that short of a time, you can go back to the drawing board, rearrange things to a more comfortable position, and see where you're at. So those are just a few of our hacks for flying with a carry-on. What was something you wish you knew when you were getting started? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker.